Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever, whenever that you may be tuning in. This is Yonks, and this is a live stream podcast here, season one AI for real estate. And I'm very excited to be joined with featured AI expert Rusty from Connex. And to assist with co hosting, we've got Celeste also with Connex. And I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you, Celeste, so that you can do a brief introduction and then hand it over to our featured AI expert, Rusty.
Thanks, Yonks. Celeste Pfeiffer here. I am an enterprise account executive at Connex.ai. So I help businesses understand how AI can assist in all sorts of different tools and workflows for their business, specifically as it relates to support with contact centers, improving efficiency, reducing costs, consolidating tech stack. So AI is very exciting right now. I'm super excited to be here, and also feel really lucky to be at Connex.ai right now. We're new to the U.S. market, but not new to the space. So excited to be here. And then I've got Rusty. He's our CRO. He'll do an introduction on himself as well. He's the brains.
I don't know about that, but yeah, my name is Rusty Jensen, and I'm the CRO here at Connex.ai. I've actually been in communications, contact center, phone systems for about 20 years. A little bit of an AI nerd. Let's be real. So ever since the early days of like IBM Watson and all this stuff, I've been following AI, involved in it pretty extensively until it's come to a point now where it can do what it can do today, which is pretty incredible. So we have AI agents that are performing like humans out of the market, and it's really cool to see. So that's me.
No, and if I absolutely love that. And if I understand things correctly, Rusty, the power that AI provides is people can quite literally almost have call center capabilities with AI as like a realtor, real estate professional. Do I understand that correct?
Yeah, that's right. So if you think about like a realtor or real estate professional, AI agents can actually do the work of human beings when it comes to things like qualifying leads, reaching out to potential owners of properties that need to be represented by real estate. It can take functions like property management. So where people are calling in, and let's say you have, let's say short-term rentals as an example. Somebody's just calling in to say, hey, I want to see if I can check out late. Being able to actually act as that concierge, have a conversation. Yeah, you want to check out late? Let me take a look at the calendar. Let me see if anybody's coming in sooner. Okay, so nobody's coming in this afternoon. So because of that, we can allow you to check out late. It's just an extra $50, right? Take a payment, negotiate it, whatever. Taking in conversations about damage that might be done in a property, and being able to can you send me a picture of that damage? Look at the picture of it. Okay, assess what that might cost. Talk to the tenant, communicate with contractors. Like an AI can actually do all of those types of functions where you think about office support for real estate. That's what it can do now. It's really impressive.
Absolutely love that. So, what's one of the biggest questions, Celeste, that you're wanting to unpack during our conversation today?
Yeah, I mean, I think what a lot of people are asking right now is how can we use AI to support the agents or the human real estate agents that we have today without threatening to take, maybe over jobs or positions that are important to people right now. So I think if we can figure out a way to use AI to support and assist and upskill, taking away repetitive tasks, like I think figuring out the best way to collaborate to help a business grow, and then also support the agents and allow them to keep doing what they're doing from a life perspective.
Yeah. And that's actually a great question, because, sometimes you think, we all hear about this. It's actually not so much something that we hear about. It's something that's sort of like a combination of excitement that AI can actually do the job of human beings, but it's also a concern and a fear that AI is going to take the jobs of human beings. And I think in practice, we're one of the few companies who's actually deployed real AI agents that perform like humans at scale. And I can just tell you what it actually looks like, because that's like the big mystery. What's it actually going to ultimately look like? Mm-hmm. And when you think about something like real estate, there's too much at stake for it to be completely handed over to AI. Right. I mean, these are people, for example, if you think about a residential real estate scenario, let's take that as an example. People that are buying properties and homes, they need the kind of connection with their realtor, and they need to be able to have interactions that you could never replace. You know, I kind of think about, have you ever seen like in those restaurants, they have like those little AI servers that are going around, those little robots that kind of serve. I just can't remember something with like a little smiley, digital smiley face, you know, trying to show a house. That's not likely to happen. And, you know, what's really more practical is the partnership between real estate agents and realtors and those that are in the real estate business, and partnering with AI for back office support. So if you think about it from a more practical perspective, if I'm a real estate agent and I'm working with a couple that's trying to buy a property, and I'm working with a series of people that are selling properties for different reasons, what's happening is when I'm with my clients and I'm interacting with my clients, I can't just pick up and take a call or respond to a text on another listing. I can't distract my focus from my clientele if I'm going to help support them to the best way possible. And what that immediately requires, because most real estate, organizations don't necessarily have an unending back office support pool, right? So what it means is that I have to text them, I'll get back to you later, call them back at different times. That's what I have to do, but I have to essentially ignore them so I can focus on my clients. Now, what AI can do from a partnership perspective is take all of that and focus a realtor more on time with clients. That's where the money's made. That's where the relationships are built. So I'll give you an example. If I am working with a client now and I'm on site showing a home, and somebody else is really interested in potentially using me to be their listing agent, and they're contacting me, I can have an AI agent take that inquiry, have that conversation, answer a series of questions about the service, text with them, email with them, and communicate with them however it needs to be communicated. Now, if I want the AI agent to take it from a voice perspective, fine. But I could also empower the AI agent to act as me and to be able to text back and forth and interact and say, hey, I'm with a client right now, but I'm actually happy to text with you. I can text and communicate and have an entire interaction that I can train an agent to perform at the level that I would expect while I'm with another client. And then book something on my calendar for me to be able to show up with that client as a next step. So I can go from one meeting with a client. I had nothing in the calendar for the afternoon. I'm with my clients doing a showing, whatever it might be, and that showing have a 30-minute buffer for travel booked on my calendar, and have another appointment booked, have an AI summary texted to me about what the entire interaction was, and be ready to move to the next appointment and that will actually generate revenue. And simultaneously, while I'm on that appointment, my AI can then start making outbound inquiries and outbound calls to people that I've interacted with in the past and text them and say, hey, we had some conversations before. I wanted to see if you actually were considering putting your listing up, and do some sales work while I'm continuing to work with my clients, right? And what we've found is that when you partner with AI, it expands your capabilities and expands your ability to make money and to be successful. And it gives you a level of support that ordinarily would cost an incredible amount of money, but it gives you a level of support to where you can actually perform and stay in the game and do what's most effective. That's what it's going to turn into more than a full replacement. Does that make sense?
Yeah, something I want to that just popped into my head, Rusty, as I think about kind of the art of the possible that you just explained, is whoever is adopting this type of technology sooner rather than later is going to be ahead of the curve. Like you're going to give yourself a leg up if you're adopting technology that allows you to be as efficient, make more money, handle your clients the way you want to handle clients. Like, I just think the people who are really looking at it seriously are going to be ahead of the curve.
That's right. And when you're ahead of the curve and you're innovating, the beautiful thing about it early on is when it's not what everyone else is doing, because you know the market's going to shift and everybody's going to shift to these type of models in the future.
Mhm.
They are, right? But if you're the one who can actually do it successfully earlier on, you're going to make way more money. It creates a scenario where you break away from what the normal economy and the normal competitive environment is doing. You break away from it and you start providing a level of service. You start being able to replicate yourself at a level where you can start making money, where you can make money in the margins much, much higher than what everybody else is doing. And then eventually it'll get really competitive and it'll kind of drive your profit back to normal. It'll drive you back down, but not until everybody adopts it.
Right.
You get ahead, you make this work, you can make an incredible amount of money, and you can deliver an incredibly high level of service that'll differentiate you in spades.
I absolutely love the value that you're putting forward for differentiation in the market. And I think one of the opportunities, from what I understand, is creating leads, like in the opportunity for real estate professionals, realtors, to lean into how that they will use AI to provide a higher level of service. And one of the things that, from what I understand too, speed to just the speed to market, as far as like reducing time frames for like how long does it take to get a house listed with real estate person A versus real estate person ABC XYZ, and using AI to reduce those, but then also just increasing the feedback. Like I've seen some horror stories about people, and I think that this is one of the things that will be interesting, as far as how that people will use AI to really differentiate and create new models, like you said, Rusty, around providing service. Because we're still very early. Like, most people aren't making the leap yet to agentic AI and still thinking about chatbots and other things like that. And that's one of the things, as a lifetime technologist, never been more excited about the convergence that I see happening here in 2025, and the opportunity for people to get some early positioning around using technology to really differentiate. And want to put this out to the universe at large. One of the things that we would love to hear from other real estate professionals is, how are you using AI to better serve your clients and your customers? And that's one of the things that I'm looking forward and would absolutely love to collaborate with Connex here on, is creating some of those case studies around some of these strategic verticals that we've identified within the We Own network ecosystem for bringing cooperative ownership. But on that note, how much has Connex really delved into providing services for real estate professionals, brokerage firms, etc.?
You know, the technology overall, and I think it's important for everybody to realize and know, is AI agents that can perform like humans, like back office tasks, prospecting, like setting up appointments for, people to potentially list their properties, being able to contact buyers and be able to do things like property management. All of that type of stuff is relatively new, as you know, right? Because the contact center function and being able to perform at the level of a human, it's really only been hitting its power curve with Connex.ai for about 11, 12 months. And most companies and organizations and technologies are still 2 years out to get it to actually perform like a human. So in our case, what we've done is we've deployed multiple scenarios where we have things like, for example, property management, big deal, because it's taking inbound conversations all hours, being able to contact different contractors for emergency services responses, collecting information from like pictures, sending it out to them, and coordinating that entire process. We've deployed that successfully, and it's awesome what it's able to do from a back office perspective. Supporting larger real estate offices where people are saying, look, we want AI agents to essentially be like personal assistants for real estate agents. We've deployed these scenarios. And what's happening is the AI is sort of just taking all the work in the margins. It's taking 24/7 conversations around listings. It's providing digital communication and AI communication from the real estate side. It's doing things like following up with different kinds of leads that are being brought in for potential new properties to be looked at for investors, or, you know, with a certain like criteria, or is it, you know, being able to just receive inbound communications for listings? Also, when there's cancellations, booking appointments and keeping the realtors busy. These are all things that that Connex.ai has done in terms of use cases, and there's still many more to do. But the capability of our platform to perform these types of functions is extremely deep, and it continues to build. You know, because we've only got about 100 million in revenue running on AI as of today, but we're talking about a scenario where there's literally, no joke, like trillions with a T, like $2 trillion worth of labor for hire, digital labor for hire that's going to be deployed over the next 10 years. 80 billion just in the next 2 years.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely exciting. And one of the things that we're really passionate about is bringing some of the tools that have really been only available to larger firms, more for like the solo operators or those that have a really small team. And that's one of the things that looking forward to seeing what that can look like as far as us making it easier for people to have agentic AI capabilities to amplify. So tell us a little bit about Athena. For those that may or may not be familiar with Athena, tell us what that is, Rusty.
So Athena is our agentic AI. And so she is an incredibly powerful and intelligent large language model that also has you have 3 different types of AI. So Athena is able to do 3 things, which is generative AI. So she's able to create new content based on creating taking inputs and then generating responses and information. She also has the ability to communicate. So she's a conversational AI. So we have a team of people that have built into the Athena system the ability for the AI to communicate like humans do. So from a voice perspective, from a text perspective, email perspective, so she's able to not just generate content, but she's also able to communicate in real time back and forth with people and be able to hear what people are saying, but also how they're saying it. And she's able to pick up sentiment. She's able to pick up how people are saying or how they're potentially feeling and react to those types of interactions and communicate. And the third thing is she has an agentic AI capability where we can give Athena particular tasks and goals. So in any conversation, the goal is to, book an appointment to have an on-site meeting to discuss a listing. You can give her a goal and she's able to actually pursue that goal and access any kinds of data sources. So data sources that are protected that we provide, external data sources and websites to be able to scan and analyze data and then respond. And inside of that, she even has memory of like the last 30, 50 conversations that were had. And she has the ability to kind of function like an agent for a human, right? That's what Athena is. So she's essentially like a digital, it's a digital agent and a digital workforce. That's
cloud employee is another really great term. And what I love about Athena is that, kind of to tag on to what Rusty's saying, is that she is capable of communicating through all channels. It's not just like her ability to connect via voice. She can talk to someone on an inbound call, on an outbound call, via text, via email, WhatsApp, Facebook, social media. She can respond to comments that are on social media. Like, it's a really key differentiator, I think, with her compared to other AI tools that are out there that maybe piecemeal functionality or might only have a limited amount of functionality. She's true omni-channel, use case agnostic, channel agnostic. It's cool.
Love. And do you have any origin story for where Athena came from?
Goddess of wisdom.
the goddess of wisdom. That's right.
She's
Yeah, we
smart.
do. So this is kind of how it happened. So basically, like 13 years ago, Connex.ai was originally called Connex One, and we had built essentially like a phone system and an analytics engine on top of it. And so what we had a series of clients that were making outbound phone calls, and they needed to have a system that would perform like a contact center system to be able to place outbound phone calls. That was the original start point. So that outbound phone calls became texts, emails, et cetera. But one of the main needs was to make sure that those calls were compliant, so that that those outbound communications were happening in a compliant manner, and they were being conducted appropriately. And so we actually built like a true field data science team that's like a research lab, right? That we actually hired and deployed to be able to detect all of what's being said and discussed in conversations and how people are reacting to them. So like the voice conversations and the sentiment, right? And we use that platform and we kind of evolved to like not just an outbound system, but a full inbound communication system and a complete communications tool. But the whole time we had this development team that was building these ability to recognize speech and sentiment and analyze it and assess whether or not these things are being communicated the right way. And so we literally have on staff people that are PhDs that are kind of the real field researchers figuring out how to empower the communication side. Well, what happened was, as we kind of developed and built a really, really good base as a company for communication systems for like inbound and outbound communication, a few years ago, when it was actually before ChatGPT and those were released, but to the general public, where it kind of became this massive wave, we actually started taking that science team and figuring out, okay, can we create this generative AI, this large language model, combine it with our speech and our sentiment detection capability, and then turn it into an agent that can function like a person. And we flipped our whole company. So about 3.5, 4 years ago, we said, everyone is being pointed at this ability to make Athena come alive and be able to perform like a human, and use the communication platform as a foundation. And then our research and our data science team continuing to developing the model and building out the skills so that she could actually do this. And so that's actually where it came from, is we actually pointed at it and said, look, this is the future. We have to be able to build a digital workforce. And Athena was created out of that model. That's where she came from. And what was great about it, Jason, is it put us about 3.5 years ahead of anybody else in trying to build a voice interactive model, right? And then as AI has accelerated, it's given us fuel, and our research teams have grown, and we've been able to develop something that's actually doing it. This is like what everybody hopes it can do, and also what they're afraid of. But they're like, can this real? Is this thing? Is it real? Yeah, Athena is real. So it's cool.
So the takeaway for those people that might be still working in a call center is to learn some AI skills. Is that right?
That's the takeaway. Learn how to work with AI. Yes.
I absolutely love what you said earlier, Rusty. Partner with AI. So one of the things that we talked about, and this is one of the things that would absolutely love to have a better understanding from what I understand, Connex talks about a 2-week go live versus potentially as long as 6 months with some other in the space. What's Connex's secret for accelerating deployments?
It's really the foundational architecture. So what's happened is, over 13 years of building phone and communication systems and different use cases, it's actually pretty easy relatively. Okay. It's relatively easy for us to be able to say, look, let's take the performance and what's happening with a particular use case in a particular like digital workforce task we want. So this is what a human can do. Let's empower the AI to do the same. When we go into that scenario, what we try to do is, sometimes you think about it as like this big, amazing, like, oh my gosh, I can do all of these things. Like you almost, especially as entrepreneurs, which a lot of real estate people are, they're more entrepreneurial. You get very excited about all the potential and the possibilities. And what we do is we say, let's pick the one use case that'll make the biggest difference. Let's pick the one. And let's train and develop and teach the AI to become that use case. And because of the underlying architecture and phone system that we have, it's actually really easy for us to take the one use case, take the AI and the phone system and build it all out completely, relatively. And the reason why I say relatively is because there's a lot to doing what a human does. There's a lot to it. So when we say relatively, it's easier for us. Most companies have to go and build sheets and sheets and sheets of coding to tell it what to do and what to integrate to and what to look at. And it's actually really hard to build and hard to maintain. But because we have all of those call flow systems and the AI system that's built on top, it's very elegantly designed. We can take a use case and we can focus on one thing at a time and get it live. But then what we do from there, Jason, is once it's live, we have a managed services group that just keeps working on it. So, okay, now it's operating and it's performing the function of setting appointments for sellers. Now I want it to be able to take some of the listings and proactively reach out to people that we know are in market to buy. And then I want it to manage the schedule. Or now I want it to do, you start building those use cases on top and you just keep working on it over time. It is iterative. It is not like let me design the ultimate of what I want it to do and do 50 things at once. It's you take one core use case, and because of the power of the underlying platform and the amazing capabilities of the Athena AI, we can pick a use case and we can get it operating in as quickly as 2 weeks. It's operating and running. And then we'll keep working with it, tweaking it, adjusting it. It's kind of like when you hire a new employee, you got to tell them, okay, say it this way, don't do that. Send the email this way, don't do that. You have to kind of keep working with it over time. And then it becomes perfect and you can just replicate it and it's 24/7 and it's any language and it's really cool. That's how it's done.
Enjoy that. What else would you like to talk about, Celeste, regarding the adoption with Connex?
You mean as far as how real estate agents can kind of utilize our partner? Is that maybe?
Sure.
I mean, I think, if you're all the tasks that Rusty had just mentioned, everybody's a little bit different, right? Every real estate company works or operates a little bit differently. So, but I know that, like Rusty said, a lot of agents are entrepreneurial. One of my best friends is a real estate agent. She's doing the tasks of so many different people. And while she has support from, her main office, she's got her back office support, she's still doing a lot of the work herself. So I think, and certain agents might have a team of people. So sometimes you're just an individual. And then sometimes you might have a group of 10 people, 10 agents underneath you, and you're just facilitating all of these different things. So I think depending on what your specific use case is, number one step is just have a conversation, right? Text me, let's have a conversation about what your need is. And then we can talk about maybe some creative ways to use Athena. How can we apply? What are some use cases that have worked for current teams? Or if it makes more sense, how do we get a group of your agents within a real estate company to partner with us so that it makes sense for everyone within the organization? So in those kind of examples, there's a bunch of different options or a bunch of different use cases. But if there is a way for, let's say, the agency as a whole to adopt Connex.ai and then give their agents the ability to utilize it, I think that's a great kind of first way to think about how you can take advantage of Athena. What typically happens, though, is that agents have the need and then they want to know how it works, and then they end up bringing it to the actual agency or kind of the powers that be within the organization to say, hey, we could really use this. Let's look into maybe adopting this tool and giving it to the agents that they can pay for, a certain number of agents. I'm like spitballing right now because I was thinking of a previous opportunity where there was a team of like 10 agents that wanted a certain tool, and they had to go to the powers that be to say, we could really use this. We really need this, but it might be too expensive for those 10 agents. So how do we get the organization as a whole to see the value and the return on the investment? And then ultimately, like, the agents are paying for most of their tools, right? Like, they pay whatever organization they work for a lot of the tools that they're already using. So I'm just like thinking of different ways. Kind of depends on the use case, depends on the size of your team, depends on the size of the agency itself. So I hope that kind of answers the question.
Yeah, well, and just to continue spitballing, thinking out loud, one of the things that Tyler and I have had a little bit of conversation, since we're both here in the Denver area, we're wanting to have a weekly breakfast around AI practitioners so that we can, kind of like mastermind, have some good food together, but then just work towards embracing this and learn what's working, what's not working, some effective tools. Because the thing that I'm most passionate about is helping people get results with AI here in 2025. So looking here at the time, one of the questions that I think that you already touched on a little bit, Rusty, but one question that I'm going to be very intentional about asking our featured AI experts is, and this is something that people are asking based upon Google saying, hey, people also ask, is will AI replace realtors?
Yeah, it's a great question. And, I think that at a time like this, there's always that concern, which is, people talk about this idea that, AI is going to take over everything. And then people, like, what are they going to do? There's going to be mass people without jobs, all these types of things. And in reality, what we're seeing in practice, so we have the most advanced AI system in the market right now that can actually do the job of humans. And what we're seeing more often than not is the entrepreneurial spirit takes over and people start saying, hey, this isn't just about saving money. This is about increasing revenue. Like, how do we actually find more opportunities, more scale? How do we create more with the system versus cutting and doing more and essentially doing more with less? It's actually creating more. It is in practice, we're seeing people that are just scaling and scaling and scaling and using AI for different kind of use cases that we never would have been able to do it before, that weren't really affordable before. Mm-hmm. And so what you'll see is that there are certain things that AI can do better than people. And there's certain things that people can always do better than AI. And the secret is merging the two together. And real estate agents really not like long-term, like that relationship. I don't ever see people being more comfortable with an AI than they are with an expert in the industry that can walk them through in most cases, the largest purchasing decision of somebody's life, or a massive part of their investment portfolio, or trusting AI with certain aspects of their business. There's just a certain part that doesn't fit. So we'll actually have to elevate and innovate, and then AI can help optimize in between. But what you'll find that AI is going to start generating incredible amounts of revenue and profitability and money for people. And people will figure out, oh, what is the secret of how that person did it? And then everybody else is going to try to do the same. And so what it becomes is, how do we actually work with AI? Even in our best scenarios, right? When we think about a total like contact center, things that are easier to replace, like, for example, like an offshore customer support, like, that's easier to replace. Even in those cases, you're only looking at 75% of the call or contact volume has been handled by an AI. And in almost every case, we're then taking the AI and using it to create capabilities to make not only the remaining humans to not replace them, but to make them better, right? To give them tools and resources so they can do more of what they're the best at. And it just takes all the monotony away from the jobs. Like that's actually what we're seeing. So in practice, I don't see it. I just see the economy becoming really, really, really dynamic. We might have to start, selling real estate in meta in the in the metaverse, and like we're selling virtual real estate. Like some of that might happen, but I don't really see it being replaced. I just see this as a really big opportunity for scale. It's going to be a boon.
Well, and I do think that there is some opportunity, especially with some of the increased high-priced real estate, to really deliver some virtual experiences. Because you think about creating, but that's another series of rabbit holes. I would probably say altogether there, Rusty, talking about the metaverse. So let's wind down and with one question that I will ask both of you. What are you most excited about here in 2025 and beyond regarding AI, agentic AI? And over to you, Celeste, and then you can bounce that to Rusty, and then we'll bring it to a close here this morning.
Yeah. I mean, I'm just excited to see where it goes. Like right now, there's so much that's still unknown about AI. And like Rusty said, there's excitement, but then there's also fear around it. And for me, like the more that I learn about AI and the more that I've been able to understand truly how businesses can optimize what they're doing, reduce burnout, which is huge, especially as like a salesperson doing all the kind of like tedious tasks that burn people out or exhaust people or it's monotonous. I'm excited to see how AI is going to change people's like aspect in their or like outlook in their kind of daily lives. And then just from like a client perspective, because I have a ton of friends who are entrepreneurs, how can we help them grow their business, scale their business? What does that do for their life, like their personal lives as a whole, and their lifestyle? So, I mean, in general, I'm just excited to see where it goes because the possibilities are endless, to be honest.
Yeah, that's true. Well, and Jason, as I think about my thought process on that too, it's actually similar to what Celeste is saying. I'm one of those people that I love seeing people win. Like I love it. I love seeing entrepreneurs take new tools, new ideas, innovate and perform and win. I love it. And that's what I'm excited to see. I'm excited to see more of what I'm already seeing. And I'm seeing people that are taking these AI solutions and they are scaling their businesses like crazy, like 5,000% revenue increases, $18 million in labor cost savings, like crazy stuff. And I'm actually, I love seeing these entrepreneurs take these tools, run them and scale them. And that's what I'm excited is for those win stories. And for the next couple of years, that's what's the biggest wins are going to be, is all of these people that are emerging, leveraging AI the right way, that's totally transforming the business. And then later, it'll get to more of a market maturity. Everybody's starting to use it, and it'll settle. But I'm excited to see the win stories between now and then. It's awesome. So
I will agree. And as a lifetime technologist, I will say I've never been more excited about the convergence that I see happening here in 2025 around AI, agentic AI, and didn't talk any about on-chain technology, but love to geek out on that. And that's another series of rabbit holes themselves right there. But thank you so much, Rusty, and thank you for co-hosting today, Celeste. We've got a link there to Connex website, and looking forward to having some more conversations about how that we can really identify some of these pain points around real estate professionals and identify some of the biggest opportunities, because I do agree that those that embrace AI early will be able to get some early positioning that other people may not be able to catch up with. But thank you so much, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and stop the live stream and end the recording.
Thanks, Jason.